John Capo had passed away. Just collapsed in the kitchen. The neighbors all of a sudden it sounded like a wounded dying animals inside the house. And then at that point, my life changed forever.
The Department of Justice says it will not charge the Capitol police officer who shot and killed a protester on January 6th inside the U.S. Capitol. 35-year-old Ashley Babbitt was fatally shot while attempting to breach the Capitol doors during the insurrection. Officials say an investigation found insufficient evidence to support a criminal prosecution.
I saw it right away, and I knew it right away. The use of force continuum. I used to have to carry a card around my neck with it. Told you how to advance down those steps before you use the deadly force. She's been doing it longer than me. I carried one for 10 years, she carried one for 14. She knew what was going on. So to say that there was a warning where she saw this person, no. She goes to that window, and then she looks to her left, and she's got a gun in her face, and she is being yelled at to get back. I can guarantee you, her hands are coming off that door real quick, and she's getting out of there. But she didn't see him, and she didn't see him and she didn't hear him. I truly believe that police officer had followed the use of force continuum and verbalized, which is a very early step, verbalization. Then you go to physical presence less than physical force. You have impact weapons. You have all this before you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But you got one little girl, 5'2", 110 pounds, come through a window and you shoot point blank. Nothing was followed. That is not training. You can look up the Capitol Police Department's use of force policy. It's down there at Clinco, Georgia, where they all get trained at FLETC. This is all public stuff. It's a trauma that I can't actually explain to watch your best friend or your wife that you're charged with protecting die in front of you to where you can't touch it. Can't help it. You can't. Try to comfort it. But I can't be the quiet one anymore. I have to be, as loud as she would be. So I gotta be her voice now. Dogs don't get enough credit in this world for what they are and the love that they have for us. That was her baby. That was her best friend in the world. She had him for 7 years at that point. He died. He died in February after she didn't come home, brokenhearted. He had showed some signs after the 6th, going towards middle, late January, that something was off with him. He was very depressed. It was about 5 o'clock out here, and he didn't meet me at the door. So I found him in the back room. Her not coming home, I obviously can never prove it, but for 3 days after, we spread her ashes, I truly believe that he just said, my job's here is done, Dad. Like, I want to go see Mom,
We have hundreds of thousands of people here, and I just want them to be recognized by the fake news media. Turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out here, because these people are not going to take it any longer. They're not going to take it any longer. Looks like you're not going to take it. They're not going to take it. I gotta tell you, this is great fun.
Dee Snider wrote the song "We're Not Gonna Take It," and he's had his own brushes with the government himself.
The PMRC's original intentions were genuine. This was a bipartisan thing.
Right.
They could agree on this. We want to censor rock and roll.
Mr. Snyder, thank you for being here.
Glad to have you here. My name is Dee Snider, that's S-N-I-D-E-R. There happens to be one area where I'm in complete agreement with the PMRC, as well as the National PTA and probably most of the parents on this committee. That is, it is my job as a parent to monitor what my children see, hear, and read during their preteen years. The full responsibility for this falls on the shoulders of my wife and I, because there is no one else capable of making these judgments for us.
We're on the road, and I'm starting to be arrested for profanity and arrested for disorderly abusive language and disorderly conduct. Lenny Bruce had already been down this path, and it was interesting here. It's the 80s. We're talking about 20 years later, and we're still dealing with it, but we're still dealing with censorship issues today. Where I take it was, I wrote the song, and it was inspired by my trials and tribulations. But being in my 20s, I very specifically avoided mentioning dad or mentioning teachers or mentioning jobs or ex-girlfriends, and said, keep it general, let people decide what you're not going to take. I did Celebrity Apprentice, and during that time I got to know the Trump family and become friends. So when Mr. Trump decided he was going to run for president, he called me up and said, Dee, I'd like these weren't going to take it. I was like, he's a friend? Sure, man. I started to get hammered by my twisted sister, hammered by my family, my kids. So anyway, and I called up and I said, Trump, I need you to stop. And to his credit, he said, okay. And never used it again.
Do you think that you should be able to keep somebody from using your music if you don't like what they stand for? Do you think you should have a legal remedy for that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I don't think we need to have a legal remedy for that.
Just follow the bouncing ball.
If you don't like the way the public school systems are operating, go complain. Go run for school committee. The tech titans can censor us all day long. There's a digital army out there that they're never gonna defeat.
We're not gonna take it anymore.
We gotta keep pushing, we gotta keep fighting to bring the truth to light.
We fight like we're doing right now, by not being afraid. We're being played, and that includes people that don't disagree with us, they're being played too.
Come on, fellas.
We need to come together as Americans again, and remember why we started this country.
Do you think that by being silent because it's not you with the language, it's your neighbor, you need to know history promises it will be your next?
Well, it's no longer a question of saving the Republic, because the Republic is already lost. Our founding fathers risked everything to establish this country. What are you willing to risk? I risked hauling my 62-year-old ass up on this horse. Let's go, people. What are they gonna do? Kill us all? Yeah!
After we're about to be framed, John Kim Smith gets shakes them.
You don't take other people's licenses from you. Just the palms of your hands, but can you answer any of my questions?
It's over there.
He just got 2 years.
Somebody's
Wow, what an unbelievable film. I've been studying and educating myself to what's going on. And I think that this film, although it's a little old, it's outdated because that Dario guy that had the Proud Boys got 27 years. Wasn't even at the Capitol. So, I mean, Nick Searcy kind of laid it down. Can I somehow get an email to them from here? We can bring Nick Searcy in, and we're going to bring in Chris Burgard, two really great patriots. And you saw what they did. They were on the site, right? I wanted to go too. I was asked to go down, and I felt the urge to do it. You know, I love Donald Trump, and I still do. I don't know if you knew that. I'm hoping he wins the primary. I am only America first. This is the saddest day in our country when I see this kind of thing. And I'm so happy to see people come here. They want to be educated. They want to know. Daniel, can we bring in our stars somehow? Send them an email. Let me do it. Because I know there's some good questions out there, right? I mean, it was very hard for me to watch the Ashley Babbitt thing. That guy that took that film, he is a renowned Antifa, and he was paid $35,000 by the Post or whatever, right, left wing news, whatever they have there, their propaganda paper, and he spilled that whole thing. This guy Bird that was taken out of right away, forgiven right away, now he's a captain of some other police force. You can see his movement with the gun, waiting. Why did the 3 police officers that were sitting there walk away from the door? Because nobody was gonna walk through them. Why did they allow these Antifa guys to smash that window? Why was these chairs stacked upside down on the other side of the door? Was that the French Revolution? Have you ever seen Les Miserables? I mean, I'm like, they were standing on some desks and chairs, they were gonna stop the French from coming in. And I said that to my wife that day. Heartbroken to watch Ashley Babbitt get murdered. But I will tell you this, there was 500 people, there was 5 people that died, I know for a lot. We're gonna be real tight with our J6ers, we try to help them. We try to raise money for Ashley.com, goes directly to Mickey Wickoff, the mom. She's down on Freedom Corner every night. Now on Freedom Corner, they would stand there, pray, and sing the national anthem with, sing the national anthem every night with the presidents. Now, the presidents did a song, and Donald Trump, our great president, helped it out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I think you know that, it's called Justice for All. And I'm pretty sure all of that money is going to these people somehow, some way. All right, let me just see it. Chris and Nick, we are ready. We are ready. Does anybody have a question that I can push you right up on it, right? You know what I mean? Rudy, that's not working. Speaking of Rudy Giuliani, anybody know Rudy Giuliani? Yeah, me too, I love him. He's coming. What? Not only is he coming, he's been here 2 or 3 times already. Right? Anybody know how many times he came? Is it 3 times? He did his radio show and he did his Twitter show. He's going to do it again. We're hoping to get him here on the 29th of this month, and we'll put that on the event thing as it happens. And what he'll do is he'll do his radio show from the office, and then he'll do his live stream over here on TV, and hopefully we can bring some people. He's got a Twitter thing. It's like 250,000 people following him. I felt so bad, I felt so bad what's going through for him, you know, and they always go to, I looked at, how about Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne Johnson? You can dig into your pockets, because we only got $40 billion between the 2 of us. We'll give you 10. Yes. Are we on? Okay, here we go. Chris Burgard, you saw him on this movie. Chris, hello, how are you? Can you hear us?
I can barely hear you. Hang on, I'm trying to. I was all set up to do this outside. We have a wonderful Texas storm happening tonight, but then it got too loud. I couldn't hear the volume. So I'm breathing here. Much better, Joe.
Okay. This is one of these fancy Zoom meeting things. Can everybody give our friend Chris a hand? What a great job he's doing. You know, each one of them are waiting to get arrested. Each one of them are all waiting to get arrested, Chris. Now, how come you didn't get arrested?
Having a hard time hearing you, Joe.
How come you didn't get arrested?
How come I didn't get arrested?
Yes.
The FBI came to my house on August 4th last summer. It's been an adventure.
Well, this movie has been phenomenal for my eyes.
I'll get it from Jennifer.
This movie has been amazing for me to hear and see. The Indianapolis was amazing for me.
Yes, sir.
And our people that were in here, I think. And some of the tough things to watch, like the Antifa guy that filmed the death of Ashley Babbitt. Why isn't that guy in jail? John Sullivan.
Well, that's a great question. You know, how come John Sullivan had contracts for 70 grand with major networks to sell that footage? How come he's not in jail? What does his father do for a living? Who does his father work for? And Bob Ray lobbed in Congress about the fact that there was no Antifa or BLM or anarchist type activity there that day. When we saw them, we filmed them. John Sullivan filmed himself. You tell me.
Well, obviously, they're being paid, they're being protected, and it's so ugly. And I want to just shout it from the rooftop. Is there any specific question for Chris? Chris, you were a rodeo guy at one time, were you not?
I've been on a few bowls.
So then you got into this political movement. And do you produce other movies? Is that what you do besides bull riding?
Yeah, I didn't plan on being an activist or a political movement or anything like that. I was the guy that came to Hollywood. I was an ex-ballet dancer. I grew up on a horse ranch. My dad was ex-military. He was a cop. I went to Hollywood. My first job, I was one of Matthew Roberts' dance doubles on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I had a good career, made some movies, was on a show called Growing Pains for a year, and then started making my own movies. And when I made a movie about the border, started filming in 2005 and 2007 when it was released, I got blacklisted in Hollywood. People I knew for 20 years would return my phone calls. And while I was on the outs with Hollywood, a guy named Irvin King called me up and hired me to be his strategic and creative media director. So I was one of his first hires, and we took him from being an unknown guy to the American hero, America's favorite CEO. So God's the one that got me doing documentaries. It wasn't my plan. And he was just putting me in my life at the right place at the right time. I was on the border at the right time. I was in Central America when they tried to take over the Honduran government. And I had a real big push that from God that we calling. We were supposed to be in DC on January 6th, and called some friends up and put a plan together and called my buddy Nick Searcy, who was really the star of all this. I mean, Nick is the everyman's voice. He just rocks in these movies. We had just gotten done doing a movie about God called God Shed His Grace on Me, and it just this movie was just brought to us. It was a divine thing. And I think Nick's trying to get in now. It'd be great to have him in here. Yeah, and you know, I was the main video content creator of Breitbart for many years, and Andrew and I were very good friends. And I faced a lot of algorithms, censorship, and stuff we would put up online. The censorship we faced in 2022 with capital punishment dwarfed anything I saw at Breitbart. Yeah. I mean, we must really be over the target because they really tried hard to shut this movie up.
When was the movie done? Ready?
We released it Thanksgiving of 2021. And then we focused on distributing it all of 2022. And we couldn't, you know, Fox didn't want to talk with MSNBC, CNN. I think Nick did some interviews for Newsmax, but they didn't run our commercials. Fox wouldn't run our commercials. Newsmax wouldn't run our commercials. One American News, they were awesome. They came to us and they said, hey, your movie captured that day in history. It tells the truth. We'd like to run it as a counter program into the January 6th hearings. And they did, and they got very, very good viewership every time they ran our film opposite the J6 hearings. So kudos to One American News Network and the Gehring family for having the cojones to tell the truth, not be intimidated.
That's One American News. Is that what you said?
That is, yes, sir, the Gehring family.
Now, they have been shut down a lot themselves too. I mean, we don't really have that in our neck of the woods, right? You got OAN?
Well, you used to. They were on several networks out here, but this last month, about 2 or 3 weeks after they began airing capital punishment, files dumped them.
Unbelievable.
So that could be coincidence, I don't know, I wasn't there, but those are the facts. They started showing our movie, and then they were no longer on Fox.
What are your options on getting the movie out? There's a question from one of my friends. His question is, what can we do to get your movie out? Because I just heard about it today. It's the first time we know. Well, obviously, it's just that it's 2021, so we got it. I don't know how we got it, but Reese here gave it to us. And we've been sitting on it for a little bit. It's a mind blow. I mean, for me, my emotions went from one side to the other. I'm so angry at this lie. It all ties together.
So we've been blessed, we originally charged $9.99 for the movie, because it cost a lot of money to make the movie, we had some people who believed in us, invested the money into it. We pretty much paid those guys back, and so now they're saying, look, we're not in it for profit, we got our costs covered, let's give the film away. So I believe we're gonna be launching it, in platforms across the country on September 18th, I believe, through His Glory. You're gonna be able to go to hisglory.tv and watch it there for free. They're gonna have Paul teach about it. And we couldn't have made this movie without His Glory. I have to tell you, this was really a God thing how this film got done. Nick and I were speaking at an event about our last movie, and they asked us what we would do for a sequel. And this was just after January 6th. And we said we'd make a movie about January 6th, because the Lions team, we were there. And if somebody doesn't document what happened that day, they will steal this day for all history and for our kids, for the country. So we had somebody come up to us and say, we'll finance this movie, let's get it done. And a month into it, as we're just about to start rolling cameras, they came back and said, I'm sorry, my board won't support this, I can't do this. And that was our first clue of how scared and intimidated, how much intimidation would be put on good Americans to keep this stuff secret. And then Pastor Dave Scarlett, from His Glory, jumped in and said, hey, this is too important. I prayed about this. The story needs to get out. And so Pastor Dave and good buddies of his put up the money for us to put this film. So we're coming out with the film. It's going to be free to everybody on the 18th. And hang on to your seats, because we're finishing up the sequel. We made a sequel to this called Capital Punishment, The War and Truth. And that will be coming out later this fall. He's much better looking and taller. I was just saying, can we get Nick in here? He's the movie star. He's much taller and better looking than I am.
We're gonna have to do a recon. My IT guy is telling me over here. We're gonna do a big sign-in. So I'm gonna send you guys a link. I mean, again, sign back in and Nick. Right? Can you do that? I'm gonna text you both.
Okay, yeah. Text it to me and say, that'd be great. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you in 2 minutes. I'm gonna bring them back in. I'm working on better technique and so forth, so a little bit. I think I felt better at VIP table. At the back end and after. We only sold 20 tickets online. So I think we're working on online opportunity.
Okay, I don't know you at all. You had done the same
I'm all the way.
last night. When I left outside.
Save anybody, yes. Take
Probably
seriously.
like 90%.
I've seen him, I think, wasn't that hilarious? Nobody pretended to read on that. Because I moved the law office and I have a fake one.
How did that happen?
Because we don't know, we're on trial first. All right, here we go, Chris.
There's no way that I would know anything that he would know.
Do we have
I
Nick?
just met him. I just met him. I don't really know him. You know, he's a typical guy. I'm gonna have to speak to him.
Chris Burgard is still with us, and it kind of blows my mind, all the things that I see him do, from, covering a war in Mexico, bull riding, and everything that, he's been doing covering. And now we did this great thing about the truth on January 6th, and our government again shut him down. Since 2001, that's 2 years, nobody's seen this. Am I right?
2021. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. The first week we released it, if people saw the trailer, they wanted to see the movie. I think we had something like 300,000 people go to the site to see the trailer, but we had some sort of weird bottleneck. Only, I don't know, a couple of thousand were able to see the movie. We fought that stuff the whole time. It's unfortunate, but you have to understand we're living in an age, knowledge is power, and the war for information, the information war that we're in right now is it's the greatest it's ever been. Nick just texted me. I think he's about to get out of it. This is he who controls the flow of information, controls the narrative, controls the people. And there's so many things going on right now that just feel upside down in the country and in the world. And I have to tell you, big government open and closed on small hinges. And January 6th, that's the hinge that everything falls apart on. Because when you see the truth about January 6th, you see how we've been lied to, you see the darkness, it opens your eyes, scales fall from your eyes, and people are like, okay, if they're lying to me about this, what else are they lying to me about? And that's very, very deadly to the enemy. That's very dangerous to those that seek to go against the United States of America.
I can't tell you the specifics, but I just remember the.
I'm gonna say, I saw the crowd going on, did he just get 48 years?
Enrique, I think at 27, 28. I'll put this towards you, Enrique, Enrique knew that the federal government had infiltrated the Proud Boys. He wasn't a stranger to how the game was played. It wasn't his first rodeo. He worked as an informant for law enforcement when he was younger. And, as he says in the movie, it would surprise me if they haven't infiltrated the organization. But I have to tell you, if any of you all met Enrique, even though he doesn't drink, I think you'd all pretty much like him. He'd be the kind of guy you want to sit down and have a beer with. I mean, his parents were Cuban refugees. He loves the heck out of this country. And, the Proud Boys was started kind of as a drinking club. And they didn't like to see the United States of America slurred and put down. And then what really tripped it for them was when they were watching TV and seeing, people being beat up by Antifa, BLM. They couldn't stand by and do nothing. So Enrique, a man who wasn't even at the Capitol on January 6th, has now been put in prison for 27, 28 years.
I don't know why you're not in jail, Nick, because you thought you got shot on TV. I'm sure you got shot twice in that movie. So how come you're not in jail?
Well, I can't answer that. I don't know why they haven't come after me. I've done everything I can. I've taunted them. I've made movies. I've, stuck my tongue out at them. I don't know what I have to do.
We just finished the movie. I think most of the people that are here were pretty much bored, really. There's so many things that have happened since you've done it. Will you do another, expand more upon this movie with another movie with what we know now?
Well, that's definitely in the works. That's what Chris and I are working on now. We've been, the sequel to this movie is much grimmer. I mean, we're following these people as they go to jail. We're seeing the oppression continue and intensify.
they're not letting up. They are emboldened, and they basically now they think they can do anything. They can get away with anything, and they're proving it over and over again. Justice doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. The juries are corrupt. The judges are corrupt. So they're continuing to press forward, and all we can do, all that I can see to do, and that Chris and I are trying to do, is just expose the truth about it and get the information out there.
We certainly got the truth with us, but we know some things have changed since the movie has been out. We saw that they arrested that Proud Boy guy who wasn't even there. He's been in 28 years now. I mean, I'm completely disgusted. We're arresting our president right now for doing this, and that little simple words that they changed to me. Who are these people? Who is Liz Cheney? How come she's walking the street? Whose officer done that said words that were so untrue and that we know was never said? I mean, this is really, the world is upside down right now. And I appreciate you guys bringing out the truth. I think everybody here does as well. We think we're going to wait right here to give us the next movie.
Do you have any questions for Nick?
Any questions for Nick? I mean,
It just seems like there's got to be a way to fundraise so that you have money to get the movie out. I mean, I get
No, here's the problem with it. It's probably just like that. Each question is it money that doesn't let the film go out? Why doesn't this film in movie theaters like what was it, Cry for Freedom or Sound of Freedom? Is it the same thing? Can Angels Freedom get this out?
Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know why the movie has not caught on. I don't know why more people have not seen it. I don't know. I don't know what techniques they're using to suppress it.
Well, like I said, they showed it as counter programming J6 series. You have to understand how afraid people are. I mean, I've talked to people in a major conservative network, and Nick and I have a friend that owns another conservative organization that could get it out to millions of people. And basically what they told us is they're afraid. They're afraid of the backlash. They're afraid of getting sued. They're afraid of losing advertising. They don't want to touch this. I mean, come on, look at this. We all voted in the midterms for a conservative Congress that we thought was going to go in there and, have a real hearing and get the truth about January 6th out. Jim Jordan's not doing a hearing on January 6th. And Kevin McCarthy, he hasn't released all the hours of all the footage to all of America. It's not hard to put it on a server, put it on a website. Every year, go look at that footage. These things haven't happened. You have to ask yourself, why is the federal government, Republicans and Democrats, sitting on this? Why is there so much fear and resentment in the media to get the truth out?
Is that a question for us?
Well,
You need to ask yourself these things.
I think that's exactly why they're doing what they're doing. They're trying to establish a climate of fear where people are afraid to speak up against it. And that is the reason that everything is happening the way it's happening. They're sending a message, just like they send in totalitarian countries all over the world, that if you speak up against the government, you will be crushed like we are crushing these people. And when you're talking about politicians, people with high-paying jobs in media, that sort of thing, they have a lot at stake. And so if they come in on this and come in hard, and you're on the wrong side of it, and the government's saying, you want to go the same way these guys did, you want to be crushed like them, that's what we're up against.
No, I don't want to be crushed by them. My wife works about that all the time. She reminds me, take it easy, Joe Fox, take it easy. And I am. It's just the soft side of me. All right, we got this going. We want to get it going. We love what you've done. We can't thank you enough for coming in. We want to help you any way we can over here. You never come into our neck of the woods. We love to house you. We love to show the movie again or whatever. We want the truth to be shared. And I want your movie to be shown on all of the networks that want to show.
The truth, what is the matter with these people? I'm sorry, guys. Sure, question. We have a question.
I don't remember the entire quote that was up there. I think it was by Thomas Jefferson that said, when the, people are afraid of the government, it's tyranny. And when the government becomes afraid of something, the government becomes their friend of people. Or something. It's,
Very good.
The Thomas Jefferson quote about, when the government fears the people,
right, and they have,
and when the people fear the government, there's tyranny.
Right.
And that's where we are, that's what they want to establish. Tyranny.
So, we got the question right here. So, David, get over here so they can see. I'm over here. Do that.
It seems to me that Rumble, Black Rumble, they seem to be very uncensored. Right? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all sorts of censored. But on Rumble, I feel like there should be a vow that maybe we can see this visually seen on Rumble. Elevate on Rumble, every hour.
The movie is on Rumble. We have it, it's on Rumble under my Rumble account, New Cersei. You can find it, Capital Punishment there. It's also being released September 18th, I believe, the date, and it's going to be released by His Glory TV. They're putting it on a lot of different platforms. But it's on Rumble right now. If you want to show it to people, the link is there. You can forward it to them. It's on Rumble for free right now.
We're gonna share that on our website as well, and send it out on our platform. We're gonna find out, because I think it's like, a little more exciting. If that's possible. Any questions? Let me know when you soon. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah. Hey, Gary, I'm at Pastor Dave's house right now, but Lisa's doing just great, and tell her you said hi.
I want to tell you too, what I realized from you is when you see the power of God that takes you where you are going, and it's the same thing that happens here in the warehouse. It's only the power of God that makes this happen. From a simple man to a, we want to organize, and we want to get the truth out, and we're not taking anything less than America first.
I'd like to just take a note and point out Gary McBride. Gary is not only on screen in the sequel, but he's been a big help going through all this footage. He's maybe the most expert person on this J6 footage in the country.
We got a couple thousand, but that's not really enough. You know, so what we ask people is to share what we share. And they share, that's the only way to get out.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's like I said, when I was at Breitbart, we're fighting the algorithm and the stuff behind the scenes. Now I could do a video of Breitbart that gets 7 or 8 million views. You do the next day to follow up and get 20 or 30,000. That's when you know the algorithm hits you, stepped on you. You would think this thing would take off like wildfire online, but it hasn't been so.
I'm very disappointed. How can we help? We know we can help, and how can we share it? We have to bring it. You know, and we love it, and we're gonna do it again, I think. This one has to be seen over and over. A couple of thoughts I had to turn my head on. Where was that guy? I heard he was a police captain now. This guy Bird.
Yeah, he's been promoted.
Yeah, he just got promoted.
Well, this is what they do. They reward their heads. You know, they reward the people that carry out their, you know, the crimes that they want to commit.
Maybe they did.
They'll do it at the end.
We're in a very red area. Okay, it's red because they all sit on their hands together and their hands get red together. Trying to figure that out. We have no outrage. Our congressman should be fighting illegal immigration is coming through New York City. We have a great guy in Nassau County to stop it. You know there's an election for Suffolk County executive coming up soon? We gotta figure that out. We need a guy like Blakeman that says, no way, we're not sanctuary. No way.
That's right.
Kids coming in.
Hell no.
I'm gonna put a stick in my paper, you know, and it's on, it's solid. He's looking for a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we interviewed him for our first movie. He didn't make the cut because he cursed too much.
Oh, we have a question from a patient right here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I know.
So I think what Nick was gonna say.
You know that Trump's people have had it, we've been in touch with some of Trump's. And
Is that a conspiracy?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, so he's got it.
Yeah, his lawyers have seen it, people around him have seen it. We've been assured multiple times that they're gonna show the movie to President Trump, and nothing. I don't know why, I can't explain it. I don't know. I don't understand. Maybe when I said kiss my ass or something, they all turned it off. I don't get it.
Well, you know, we're gonna do it, we're trying to help the mayor. You know, American mayor. Anybody know Rudy Giuliani? I'm gonna payroll on our website. Yes, thank you, gentlemen, for the work you've done. Share, support that we can. Everybody capital punishment. God bless you. I'm so happy and proud that they came and do that for us. I got a hold of them on the phone. They said, Joe, we'd love to do it. And I said, thank you, because, you know, it's just something great. And this is what's happening.
It is.
And I'm able to see this kind of stuff, okay? I gotta be better now. I got a 9:30 start, a 5:30 start in the morning. Okay, take your time. Well, we're gonna put John Bauer. We're gonna put John Bauer, okay? So we'll have to watch it. 50-50. 5 minutes. We got it. Last call.
Winning ticket is in there. Jeff, you want something, Jeff?
We read the water. Thank you. Yep.
What do you want?
We had record enthusiasm in 2016. In 2020, we had more. We had We did better in 2020 than we did in 2016. Got millions and millions more, but we've never had the enthusiasm that we have now. But I used to say early on, I'd say, you know, it's a shame. I go home and our great first lady would say to me, how are you, Larry? I said, could I ask you, can you watch the speech? Yes. And she's tough, you know, and say, how did I what do you like your hair? Oh, I didn't like the way your hair looked. I said, oh, that's not good. But I said, how did the crowd look? Well, you couldn't tell except for the noise. You know, the noise. It's obviously not 200 people shouting. Remember, Joey couldn't fill up the 8 circles, and then he supposedly won. The fake news were used to have to come down.
Small crowd, how great is that? How great is
But I
that?
say, how do you like the crowd? Well, they never showed the crowd, but I can tell it was a very big crowd by the years. Like, it's like your great football team. Now I'm going to get a good review tonight. But you know what? You can tell. It was big, but you said, no, they never showed the crowd. And I figured that it's maybe the structure of the camera, you know, it's on steel, tripods, and maybe you just can't turn it. And then we had a couple of embarrassing moments where people ended up fighting in a corner or something, and that camera turned around like a pretzel. They wanted to show that. So that was my theory. You couldn't do it because structurally, you know, it's very stiff and you can't turn it. But boy, when those guys started fighting in the corner, which is again, when they started fighting in the corner, and I've never seen a camera like that, they got every angle. So I realized that wasn't working, but they won't show. I would love it if the press would turn around the cameras and show this incredible.
Running in 2015, we actually shut down the streets, and then it wasn't that only a few hundred people. I didn't realize that all of a sudden the police started shutting down all the streets and everything.
Did you see that? They won't, because they told not to do it. Because they want to make it look. They don't want to show crowds like this. Because nobody's ever got crowds like this. Nobody's ever got. It's not me. It's all of us. It's our. This is our moment. This is what's happening to but they want to do it, even though it's very good for them. You know, you show something that's so loud, you know, people say, you know, it's incredible. They just won't do it. I just said something, will you please, yesterday, please turn around. You guys go crazy. Everybody up in the back, they're going crazy. Everyone's going crazy. Those cameras, I didn't see one of them even make an effort to turn around. That's why they call it fake news. That's why they call it fake news. You know, I'm proud of a lot of things. You don't mind if I go up the teleprompter for a second there?
That was a small group of us on a chat with the shows and stuff. The guy on here says,
we like when we go up the teleprompter. Remember at the beginning, they used to do but you have to, because when you go on the teleprompter too long, no matter how good you are, it's called the boring time. But we've had Such potential, and you know, we speak something that's so horrible to me. You know what happened, just the way that the news watch, the newscast switch, by the way, you look at ABC, CBS, you look at CNN, you look at MSDNC, which is I think the worst of all, I think what they say, they're evil, they're evil, they're really evil. And they're really a wing of the Democratic Party, and they should be paid. Somebody should report that for campaign contributions because it's so bad. What they say is so nasty, so horrible. You don't want your family to watch it. How about me? Here, I'm going to be indicted. I said, indicted?
Yeah.
I never learned about that at the Wharton School. Indicted. I could be indicted. How about me? I have to go see my wife. That's what you feel. I'm going to be indicted for no reason whatsoever. And then that happens. That's traumatic. You go to your daughters, you go to sons, and they say this, and that's a terrible thing. And then I hear a couple of weeks later, I'm going to be indicted for something else, then for something else, then for something else. And now they're saying, don't indict him anymore because they want to. But how about that? You go 4 times to tell you, and even the lawsuits. No, these are sick people. These are people that are actually sick. They're just destroying our country. And if we don't take it back, if we don't take it back in 24, I really believe we're not going to have a country left. And you see it less because you're here in this great state. And I heard Chris use that term flyover, but it's flyover and everybody admires you when they're looking down. They like to be here with you because they know what's happening on the West Coast and they know what's happening on the East Coast. And it's not great. So the people that are smart, they say, there's no way flyover will come out and they don't show. It's peanuts. What they show is nothing compared to facts. This is an invasion and a destruction of our country, and they don't want to show it because they want that guy to be elected if he makes it.
0116. 200.
And you know, I'm going to treat him with
For the
a modicum
J6
of
president.
respect because I have respect for the office. I would never talk away. But when they indicted me for nothing, for free speech, I said the election was rigged.
0116.
Everybody knows that.
The crowd goes crazy that you won. Congratulations. 200 some odd dollars. Thank you very much. The rest of it is going to poorashley.com. That's who I love. Thank you once
But when you think about it, I never said this. Now I say he's the worst president in history. He's the most corrupt president in the history of the world. And as other foreign leaders say, and as I say, he is grossly incompetent and he's very dangerous because he has no idea what he's doing. He can't put 2 sentences together. And we're playing with nuclear weapons with other countries, and he has no clue what the hell is going on. So I would never have said that out of respect for the office, not for him, but for the office. But now that they've weaponized the justice, now that it's been weaponized, now that the FBI came to work, you saw that there were 20 files and the things they've done are so bad, they're so evil. With all the different things that have taken place, and with all the corruption that you witness on a nightly basis, and you don't have to watch a great deal about the internet. A lot of it's really bad, but you know, you get to see what's happening. You get to see what's happening. And when you see the kind of things, I feel I'm totally free to speak. And my mind is the same as you know what's happening. Just
One day, that's what means. So we got 4 pillars.
we will, because they won't,
He said,
because they don't care about South Dakota. But we will stand up for South Dakota workers, and we will stand up for South Dakota farmers. I mean, nobody's ever taken care of the farmers. Like President Trump, as your president, I took on communist China like no administration, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars, as you know, they didn't like me too much, actually. I think I got along very well with it. No other president had ever got literally 10 cents a year. I gave our farmers the money that we got. $28 billion. That's why I say your state, I said somebody, and I don't want to say too often.
How much you like my command anymore?
But you know, I don't like saying things like nobody else can do this, nobody else can do that. Nobody else can do you. 28 million pure farmers. And I said to the people of Iowa, I said to the people of Nebraska, who represented very well, Charles. I said, we can't possibly lose, because I got the farmers $28 billion from China. Nobody else would even think about it. Nobody else would think about it. And I'll just tell you, because I got him elected, so I call him Prime Minister. He strongly opposed my protection for our farmers. I protected our farmers very simply. By the way, those farmers got big checks. Any farmers in here got big checks? Yes. But that goes to the people, that goes to the workers, and goes to the I said, there's no way I'm gonna lose farm states. Very simply, I said, it started with the communists in China, and we fought very hard that this didn't take place. We also opposed Medicare, and opposed the thing called Social Security. Remember this about a politician? The first thing here is always what they get. So now I'm sure he's changed. I don't watch it. He's done so well in the past. I'm not really watching it. They say, sir, forget about it. He's gone. I say, no, nobody's gone. Nobody's gone until it's over, right? It ain't over until it's over. Either good, guilty, bad. Philosophy. But the sanctimonious voted to get Social Security. Think of it. Social Security 3 times voted. Ends up voted. He is a disciple of Paul Ryan, the great Paul Ryan. You know who Paul Ryan is? Was it? And he wanted to raise, and he will raise if he ever got it. One guy in 4 years. But he wanted to raise the minimum age to 70. That's a big deal. He also wanted to hit Medicare and hit it very, very hard. I ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made in the history of our country, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA that's Mexico, Canada. They say it's the best trade deal ever made in the history of our country. And I made a deal with China. I gotta talk about it because once COVID came in, I said, I'm not going to talk about it. The deal I made with China is $50 billion they buy a year. And I started out at 4. And then we got up to 15. And then I went into the negotiating room and I said, listen, you said we want 50 billion. And they said, okay, 50 billion. And I said, do you remember the farmers? You remember this? I said, because the farmers went along with me. You don't have to get that easy to deal with it. They couldn't believe this was happening because usually you see everything they bow to the Chinese, they bow. And they understand, they get understand. But it says, I'll never forget, 32 farmers came to see me. It was beautiful, everything, beautiful room, all set up. And I said, I'm going to give you a lot of subsidies in China. And one of the farmers says, I'm never forget, it's the only time this happens, sir. We don't get subsidy. We just want a fair, level playing field. I couldn't believe it. It's the first time that's ever happened. Because everybody else, Christie says, we want the money. We want the money. They just wanted a level playing field, which they didn't have. And I went to Southern Purdue, it's the Center of Agriculture, said,
damage that they've done over the last 5 years to our farmers. And he comes back 2 days and wants some streets back to $8 billion. I said, it's a lot. I said, we're gonna get it. And I got $28 billion and farmers picked up big, fat, beautiful checks. And I was very happy to hear that. And I said, there's no way I lose a farm. So I was a little bit cockier than I should be. But I don't see how we can lose farmers with the manufacturers. And by $50 billion now, I understand is you have to make sure. Are they buying? Yes, are they buying? Are they buying? I don't have to say I bet you right now if you look at they push our country around. There's no reason for it. We have a very strong relationship, a good relationship. That deal might have been better than the USMC. USMC and Mexico was a very one-sided deal. It's so one-sided. You know, they made some typos. They were typos of numbers. But the typos were actually much more for them. And they didn't change it. They didn't even call it that. They didn't call it. You say, oh, it makes sense. They didn't really change it. That deal was so bad afterwards. And now the USMC is like they want to renegotiate the administration. This is not fair. And I hope they don't do it because they should be doing it. It's a great deal for us. I think maybe the China deal might even be big deals for Japan because they were really working. Big deals with South Korea, you know, what they were doing. Everybody, there wasn't anything I said. He says, many things that we made it up. Country successful, we made people in manufacturing successful. We stopped them from dumping steel to save their steel. It's been such a great honor to do it. And it was easy.
We get them out of the
You know, Prime Minister Abe of Japan was assassinated. She's so unfair the deal that you have with America. Oh, it's really unfair. I said, we gotta redo it. I knew you'd come to me. No other president came to me. I said, I knew you'd come to me. Because he understood. He understood how unfair it was. South Korea, the same thing, sort of. They knew what we said before them. I said to South Korea, we have to renegotiate the deal. We have 35,000 troops there in harm's way because you have North Korea. But I got along very well with Kim Jong-un. If I were elected president, you would have had a nuclear war between if Hillary Clinton went in or Obama in some form, maybe the form would be Biden. You would have ended up in a nuclear war. We got along after the first month or two. It was rather tough. We were a little London. He said, I have a red button on my desk, and I said, I have a red button too. Mine's bigger and better, and mine works a lot stronger. President Obama told me when we sat down and said, Richard, before you 6 years, and said, what's the biggest problem? He said, the biggest problem is North Korea. When he really thought we were going to end up in a nuclear war. I said, have you called them? And I'm glad they're losing millions of people. Have you called them? And he didn't say yes. So we should have to call. And the truth is that they did call, and they did not receive well. We spoke, and we dealt with going over there. You remember that? It was a very historic moment.
So they were talking about church. So they got some church.
And I said to Kim Jong-un, you're going to be a Russian guy. Good, the most beautiful shoreline. Think of it. You're between China, Russia, and South Korea. Look at the beautiful shoreline. You have the most beautiful condos that you've ever seen in the country. You don't have to live like you live.
One of the churches we were in,
He just loves collecting. They have the church with the collection. And we got along incredibly well. Once we did, and once we started all the safety Olympics in South Korea, because nobody was going, nobody wanted to be blown out of the stadium. And we came along. They actually participated in the Olympics. We had a great relationship, and it would have been great. We would have had to get the election. And that's the way it is. I mean, it's a shame. Think of what's happened to our country in just 3 years. Think of what's happened to our country. We look at the borders and we're not respected. We're left all over the world. We're losing all of these countries. Saudi Arabia now is aligned with China. We don't want them aligned with China. They have tremendous organization. We really don't need them. You know, we have more oil under our feet. I call it liquid gold. Than Saudi Arabia or than Russia.
It's not only the tax rate.
And you know what we do? We get it from Venezuela. We take their tar. They don't have their tar. And you know where we process it? In Houston. So all that. Not like the maniacs that want to destroy our country, but it all goes up into the atmosphere. And when China's going to, just like the Pacific Ocean, we're taking tons and tons and tons of garbage. Because China dumps their garbage in the Pacific, and the tide falls in the tropics. We're picking it there. And then they say, we have to keep on taking it up. They have to participate because it blows over in 3 or 4 days. So what good does it do for us to destroy our businesses by putting controls all over the place? By having child support as a father and son. I said, I read this with a family of these big trucks and try to go over it doesn't seem to make sense to me. It will destroy the industry. Because they
People
go
with these problems with that guy, it's a fraud. It's a fraud. That's all I know. They got fraud. Raise their hand. Who wants the fraud?
Talk to the people in the trucking industry.
Who wants the fraud?
Person that wants to destroy. I actually believe that's what they want to do, but unlike the establishment globalists in this race, I'm also an unwavering defender of ethanol, which you like right here, on behalf of the American farmers and remain the ethanol champion. Your state is the big factor. Our record of the economy is unmatched in history.
You know, they come by here, somebody
So it's not what they do. The Republicans in the primary by massive numbers and crushing crooked Joe Biden in the general.
I'm gonna end the stream.
The new poll that came out just today. Remember, you see all the polls and they said, go over the polls, only if they were really good. I had a bad period and the polls weren't looking good.
Look at all the comments right now.
But I'll tell you, I told you that this is the best.
Is that on your side?
In the new premise.
That's on my live stream.
Last night, we're at 62%, DeSantis is second at 12%.